Good morning, welcome to Wednesday. Recently, a great theologian named Frederick Buechner died at the age of 96. If you've ever spent time in pews listening to sermons in both mainline and evangelical churches, Frederick Buechner is probably someone you've heard quoted multiple times. I have quoted Buechner, I couldn't tell you how many times in 30 years of preaching. He was so brilliant because he was so accessible. He just said things in a way that cut through all the jargon and made it real. He was also a novelist. He began his career. His first novel, published in 1950, was A Long Day's Dying, and it got critical acclaim. But unfortunately for him, he felt a call to ministry, and it forever altered his marketability among mainline booksellers. As soon as he got an MDiv attached to his name, it changed. Although he is much beloved, and in fact, his stuff has continued to be so accessible and popular that when a Facebook and Twitter account were created by the Frederick Buechner Center, I don't know how many years ago now. Last year, at age 95, he had 2.2 million followers on Facebook and 380,000 on Twitter, a man who never once had an email account. Frederick Buechner, we thank you for your ministry among all of us. And he told the story, he was in New York, he was writing novels, and he went to church. And he listened to a great sermon by George Buttrick. And he said, and George Buttrick used a term in his sermon that included the words great laughter. And he said, at the phrase great laughter, for reasons that I have never satisfactorily understood, the great wall of China crumbled, and the Atlantis rose up from the sea. Tears leapt from my eyes as though I had been struck across the face. It was not so much that a door opened, as that I suddenly found that a door had been open all along, which I had only just then stumbled upon. For those of you who have pursued a call, I wonder how that feels for you. But I want to read something that I'm almost certain that if you've sat through sermons in a pew, or if you've preached one, you have heard these lines. It's from his book, Wishful Thinking, a Theological ABC, written in 1973, published. It's a section in the letter V on vocation. He said, it comes from the Latin vocare, to call, and it means the work a person is called to by God. There are all different kinds of voices calling you to all different kinds of work. And the problem is to find out which is the voice of God rather than that of society, or say, the superego, or super-interest, self-interest. By and large, a good rule for finding out is this. The kind of work God usually calls you to is the kind of work, A, that you need most to do, and B, that the world most needs to be done. If you really get a kick out of your work, you've presumably met requirement A. But if your work is writing TV deodorant commercials, the chances are you've missed requirement B. On the other hand, if your work is being a doctor in a leper colony, you have probably met requirement B. But if most of the time you're bored and depressed by it, the chances are that you have not only bypassed A, but probably aren't helping your patients much either. Neither the hair shirt nor the soft berth will do. Here it is. The place God calls you is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. Sound familiar? There's been many variations on that, but I don't know that he's the original, but Frederick Buechner at age 96, we give you thanks for the faithful life and the way in which you have resourced both preachers and parishioners throughout our faith lives. And with that, I have and hope you have a grateful day.